Picture this, November 28, 1981. The waters off Catalina Island are eerily calm, but aboard the yacht Splendor, tension cuts through the night air like a knife. Natalie Wood, Hollywood's beloved star of West Side Story and Rebel Without a Cause, is about to face her final hours in circumstances that would puzzle investigators for decades to come. What really happened that night? The official story says she slipped while trying to secure a dinghy that was banging against the yacht. But what if I told you there were witnesses to heated arguments, mysterious bruises, and crucial evidence that disappeared before dawn? Stay with me, because what you're about to discover will change everything you thought you knew about one of Hollywood's most tragic mysteries. It was supposed to be a relaxing weekend getaway. Natalie, her husband Robert Wagner, and their friend Christopher Walken had sailed to Catalina Island to celebrate the Thanksgiving holiday. But by Friday night, something had shifted. Dennis Davern, the yacht's captain, later described an atmosphere so thick with tension you could cut it with a knife. The trouble started at Doug's Harbor Reef restaurant. Natalie, radiant in a red down jacket, seemed nervous, constantly glancing between her husband and Walken. Other diners noticed Wagner's clenched jaw, the way he gripped his wine glass a little too tightly. One witness, a waitress named Michelle, remembered thinking the famous couple looked like they were sitting on a powder keg. Back on the yacht around 10 p.m., the real drama began. Captain Davern, who had served the Wagner family for years, witnessed something that would haunt him forever. Through the thin cabin walls, he heard voices rising in anger. Wagner was shouting about Natalie's career, about choices she was making. Then came Walken's voice, trying to mediate, followed by the sound of something shattering. Here's where the story takes a darker turn. Davern later revealed, decades after the incident, that he saw Wagner grab Natalie by the shoulders. Her eyes were wide with fear, something the captain had never witnessed before in all his years working for them. She was wearing that same red jacket, but now it seemed to symbolize danger rather than warmth. Imagine discovering this just weeks after what should have been a celebration. What would you do if you witnessed something that challenged everything the world believed about America's sweethearts? The argument escalated around 11 p.m. Natalie, desperate to escape the tension, announced she was going to bed. But here's what the investigators never fully explored. The yacht's dinghy, named Prince Valiant after one of Natalie's films, had been secured properly earlier that evening. Davern had checked it himself, as he did every night. Yet somehow, by midnight, it was allegedly banging against the hull. Wagner claimed he last saw his wife around 11 p.m. when she went to her stateroom. But Davern's account tells a different story. He saw Natalie on deck around 11:45 p.m., still in that red jacket, looking out at the dark water. She seemed to be waiting for something, or someone. The captain noticed her hands were shaking, not from the cold, but from something else entirely. The sound of splintering would pierce the night air around midnight. When Wagner emerged from his cabin, he seemed strangely calm for a man whose wife had just disappeared. She's probably gone to shore, he told Davern, as if it was the most natural thing in the world for a woman terrified of dark water to take a dinghy alone at midnight. But here's the detail that changes everything. Natalie Wood had a lifelong, paralyzing fear of water. This wasn't just nervousness, it was genuine terror that stemmed from a childhood incident. Her mother had told her that she would die in dark water, and Natalie believed it so deeply that she rarely even took baths. The idea that she would voluntarily get into a dinghy at night was not just unlikely, it was virtually impossible. You'll soon discover why the delayed search makes this story even more suspicious. Instead of immediately calling for help, Wagner waited 4 crucial hours. 4 hours while Natalie could have been saved. During this time, he called his lawyer and his publicist before he called the Coast Guard. What kind of husband prioritizes damage control over his wife's life? When rescue teams finally found Natalie's body the next morning, she was floating face down about a mile from the yacht, still wearing that red down jacket. The dinghy was found nearby, its ignition switched to the start position. But here's what the official report didn't emphasize. Natalie was found with unexplained bruises on her arms and legs, injuries consistent with a struggle. Dr. Joseph Choi, the coroner who examined her body, found something else troubling. The pattern of her injuries suggested she had tried desperately to climb back onto something, her fingernails broken from clawing at a hard surface. The official cause of death was ruled accidental drowning, but Dr. Choi later admitted he had concerns about the circumstances. Which side do you believe, the official story or the hidden evidence? Tell us below, because this mystery runs deeper than anyone imagined. In 2011, 30 years after that tragic night, the case was officially reopened. New witnesses came forward, including restaurant staff who heard the arguments continuing even after the group left Doug's Harbor Reef. Captain Davern finally broke his silence completely, revealing details he had kept buried for decades out of loyalty and fear. The most chilling revelation came from forensic experts who re-examined the evidence. They concluded that Natalie's injuries were more consistent with assault than with an accidental fall. The bruises on her wrists suggested someone had grabbed her forcefully. The timeline of events, they argued, didn't match Wagner's account. Today, the case remains officially unsolved, but Robert Wagner has been named a person of interest. He has never agreed to be re-interviewed by police. Christopher Walken, who was questioned extensively in 1981, has maintained his silence about the details of that night, saying only that it was a terrible accident. As we remember Natalie Wood, let's not forget that behind Hollywood's golden facade, real people faced real struggles. Her final night reveals a woman trapped not just by dark water, but by circumstances that may have been far more sinister than the world was ready to accept. I leave you with the song Natalie loved to listen to, somewhere from West Side Story. See you in the next video.